All right, my name is Richard Atwell. I'm a director with the Sewage Treatment Action Group. I'm going to read you a letter I wrote to the Ministers of Environment and Community Sport and Cultural Development. Dear Ministers, I'm writing to you both as a follow-up to my letter of September 3rd, advising you that the CRD has paid little attention to the Ministry of Environment's guidelines for preparing a liquid waste management plan, specifically the chapter dealing with the establishment of technical and public advisory committees. The CRD's Technical and Community Advisory Committee passed Amendment 9 at a single meeting, lasting an hour. While this is slightly better than the 75 minutes that it took to pass the entire Amendment 8, it was still totally inadequate. It should be noted that Amendments 7 and 8 were passed by the previous TCAC in 2009 and 2010, when CRD staffer Tony Brissick chaired that committee. The terms of reference that the CRD established for that committee does not permit a CRD staffer to sit on, let alone chair that committee. I've included all TCAC minutes that this period includes and the terms of reference for this committee. It comes as no surprise that the CRD would pay little attention to ministry guidelines when it has failed to even follow its own terms of reference. The guidelines recommend the inclusion of a diverse membership for TCAC. Community associations and environmental groups deserve particular mention because the impacts from the CRD sewage plan, specifically the pumping stations at Macaulay Point and Clover Point, as well as the pipeline running from Heartland to McLaughlin. Agreement at TCAC with respect to changes to the Clover Point pumping station came about from a verbal presentation given by Jack Hull, who told the committee that the sewage screens were going to be changed and one of the walls moved. That's all that the TCAC committee was told and what they were left with. Since that TCAC meeting on October 15th, the RFQ for Clover Point was released on October 24th, and it reads, the project will include a new pump station and headworks in a building that has a footprint of 25 meters by 45 meters. That's 12,000 square feet in imperial units. It also reads, the new pump station will be constructed adjacent to the existing pump station at Clover Point, just south of Dallas Road in the city of Victoria. When I spoke to CRD staffer Mr. Malcolm Cowley back in February, he said there would be likely finer screens installed to protect the pumps and the piping, and the truck traffic due to screening removal would likely increase from 2 bins per week to 7. At TCAC, Mr. Hull stated that the screen size would be remaining the same, and we have to ask who is correct. Mr. Hull, who asked Mr. Telford at that meeting, or Mr. Cowley earlier in the year. I've included a link to an audio recording of Mr. Hull describing these changes, and in the clip I provided, you also hear Mr. Hull use the words detailed design. Nothing was provided to TCAC other than a brief verbal description of changes to this pumping station. TCAC received no indication that a new pump station at Clover Point was going to be constructed, as stated in the RFQ. This was downplayed. TCAC received no documentation in its agenda package or any designs. Yet examining the fees that Stantec has charged the CRD during 2013, which I've enclosed, we can see the following entries. Design, Clover Pump Station, $33,000. Conceptual design, procurement, pump station, $12,000. Conceptual design, procurement, pump station, $28,000. Conceptual design, procurement, Clover Pump Station, $70,000. In total, $148,000 in fees for the Clover Point pump station in 2013. In addition, no cost estimate was provided to TCAC, yet there clearly exists some kind of design. And the CRD is still promoting to the public a 2010 base cost figure for Amendment 8, with no cost attributed to Amendment 9 that the Ministry of Environment will be receiving. After 3 years of having a static figure, taxpayers have a right to learn of any revised estimates that at least include these changes. And if they have not been calculated, why haven't they? CRD has also asked municipalities to pass a bylaw allowing unfettered access to infrastructure, such as the pump station at Clover Point. There's currently a bylaw being considered by the City of Victoria regarding Clover Point, and the public is left to wonder if this is just a convenient way for the CRD to avoid any kind of rezoning process that would require public participation. Therefore, I'm requesting that the Ministry of Environment review the October 15th TCAC footage that I provided in consideration of its approval of Amendment 9. In my opinion, the CRD has not seriously engaged TCAC with the development of Amendment 9 in a meaningful way. I'm also requesting that the Ministry of Community, Sport, and Cultural Development look into the CRD committee process, its interpretation of its own bylaws, and employment of Robert's rules as witnessed in these videos. Sincerely, Richard Atwell, Director, Sewage Treatment Action Group.